excuse me, what day it is? Sunday. So y'all know what we're back for. We're back for another what? Another whoop? Another We're back for another PValley review, baby. So y'all already know it is your boy EJ, and today we're back with another we're back with another review, y'all. So this episode is gonna be called episode 4 of PValley. It's called The Trap. So let's go ahead and get into it. You know how I like to do my reviews, y'all. So we're gonna go character by character. And the first one we got up is Miss Mercedes. Okay, so like the episode starts off with Mercedes is trying to get her gym, like I said last time, but the real estate lady that she has with her doesn't really believe in her actual dream, y'all. So we kind of have that struggle of people not believing in Mercedes. So the real estate lady told her that maybe she needs to go ahead and up her, I guess, her fee for the girls to go ahead and, you know, be inside the dance team. But y'all, we're gonna come back to the actual gym in a minute because later on in the episode it was y'all remember that crowd I saw? Doug, if you buck, boy, Doug, if you buck. I'll get into that in a minute. But just to talk about Mercedes. I got a little notes for y'all just in case y'all want to read along. Also, we see that Miss Patrice is not answering Mercedes' calls. Because y'all remember last couple episodes ago, Miss Patrice was supposed to get Mercedes that 20 racks so she can go ahead and put that down payment on it. That's coming up too, y'all. Miss Patrice was really getting on my nerves in this episode. Also, we see that in the episode, we see that Mercedes has a room there, and it's like a whole bunch of kids stuff. So then we know that Mercedes' daughter is the lead girl on the team. So it looks like the lead girl was actually staying with Mercedes before. So I think we need to touch on that a little bit more because we see that it's a room, and it's not like it was like a baby room. It looks like the little girl probably was like 3, maybe 4 by the time she went over there to her. So we got to see how that relationship is going to hand out because we kind of see that the daughter is kind of rebelling a little bit. So maybe she's kind of struggling with the fact that she had to leave Mercedes and go with somebody else. Now, we see that Mercedes is her boo thing from last episode. Like I told y'all that she has like some rich man named, you know, Mr. Coach. Mr. Coach comes and tell her, you know, he give her this necklace. It has Mercedes on it. And, you know, he was like, well, it could be more than that. They didn't really touch much on his episode. I already feel like they're going to bring him back or he's going to be the reason that Mercedes is, I believe Mercedes is end up going to leave and going to be with Coach. We also see that, the man with the, the ankle bracelet, from prison, he actually came to the club for Miss Mercedes, and, he was celebrating, but it looks like him and Murder had some little beef. So I feel like that's going to be a storyline in its own self for that as well. Also, we do see that Mercedes kind of get into it with Gidget and the rest of the girls because everybody finds out that Mercedes knew that the club was, closing, and she didn't tell none of the scrippers. One, I feel like she did tell the script because she was trying to keep her loyalty to Clifford, but still she didn't want to get the scripters all, kind of worked up, and just in case, the club ended up standing and whatever. But we also see that they end up celebrating Mercedes' last dance, decorate her locker, give her this special outfit for her to wear tonight so she can kill it. But the thing is, Mercedes end up leaving because she hears her mom said she was coming to the club, but then she tells her to meet her at the gym. We also see that the mom ended up spending the 20 racks and buying the gym under Mercedes' nose so she can turn it into a church. Y'all, so let's go ahead and talk about Miss Patrice as well, because I can go ahead and add that into Mercedes. So we see Miss Patrice. She's upset still that the pastor basically played her and said that, well, I'm gonna try you out on that pool pit one Sunday, Miss Sister Patrice, and you know how he did. He ended up fooling her. So another episode, in this episode, you kind of see that she kind of took that as some fire, and she had this big old sermon about men's in the church and how women's always gonna have to hold them down. She ends up, the whole church was loving it. He ends up pulling her to the side and say, well, you need to get your act together. You can go ahead and, he told her that she needs to stay in her lane. And if not, she can go ahead and go somewhere else. which means that is the reason basically why she took the 20 racks from the church and put it into the gym so she can make that gym into her own personal church. But the thing was, you used Mercedes money knowing that she was going to buy the gym for her dancers, which also lets you guys know that Miss Patrice doesn't believe in Mercedes' dreams, because you took the money that Mercedes gave you for your dreams and took it and basically used it for your own personal gain. So, which caused Mercedes to get upset, and Mercedes ends up beating the brakes off of Miss Patrice. Now, y'all know Miss Patrice, Miss Patrice deserved that ass whooping, okay? Miss Patrice earned that ass whooping, because at this point you was ducking her calls. But I knew that either Miss Patrice wasn't gonna get her money or Miss Patrice was using that money for something else. And I already knew how the episode was going, that this is where it led to. So basically, Miss Patrice and Mercedes end up getting arrested, which means that y'all find out that Mercedes is not gonna be able to do Mercedes' last dance because Mercedes is in goddamn jail. Next person, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into Autumn, y'all. So Autumn was good this episode because you got a lot of character development with Autumn. Like, sometimes, even though Autumn is like the main character, they was kind of not giving us a lot of background. So in this episode, you guys are gonna find out that, one, I was correct, that Autumn's daughter died in that flood. And this is why she had that phone, to keep a picture of her, because she ended up dying. But it also looks like Autumn is a professional scam artist. Autumn has multiple IDs, different wigs, and she keeps using this transferring bank and sending $9,000 every day. But she goes to different branches of it so she can get the money. She switched the wigs, and that's it. She's also learning she's trying to figure out how to pole dance from Gidget, so she, I guess, can bring some more money in so she can get up her stake in the club. We also see that she gets into it with Andre. Andre ends up telling her that she's a thirsty trick and that she needs to be more of a mother and stop trying to basically run after all of these, thirsty men in the club. And that kind of sets Autumn off and saying, well, you're a hypocrite and all the other stuff, and they end up fighting. The next morning, you find that Autumn is in also Andre's bed. They didn't really do anything. Andre tries to apologize, and, that kind of ended their whole thing there. We also see that Mercedes and Autumn kind of get into it because they have this kind of, I'm going to be the top, the top girl in the club. Mercedes is leaving, and Autumn thinks that she's going to come in and take Mercedes' place. Mercedes says, no, girl, you got to earn this. You don't even know how to be on the pole and do no monkey drops. And I understand where she's coming from. I think Autumn and Mercedes will eventually be friends, but I feel like it's light skin versus dark skin with them too. If you really kind of notice it, Autumn is the only kind of light skinned girl in the club. I mean, it is like some brown skinned girls, but it's like Autumn is the light skinned girl. We already know how it is. The light skinned girl comes in, thinks she's going to go ahead and take everything over, and it doesn't really help that Uncle Clifford kind of keeps saying that Autumn is going to take everybody's money. And I don't know if the other girls are kind of feeling what Autumn is basically. Autumn's coming in to take over. But who really is going to take over? Mississippi. Let's go ahead and get in Mississippi, because Mississippi was, to be honest, she was the star of the whole episode. Mississippi came in. First of all, Mississippi overheard Clifford talking to Andre in the room in last episode about, the Pynk basically getting taken over by the casino. And she ends up telling Gidget. And I guess she ended up telling the whole entire club, because at one point when Uncle Clifford came into the, the dance room while the strippers get ready, one of the strippers said, well, we finna, it's finna be closed anyway. The Pynk finna, shut down. And he was like, what are you talking about? So then Mississippi ended up telling everything else, like, well, when was you gonna tell us that, the Pynk is getting shut down and getting bought by a casino? And Uncle Clifford kind of felt some type of way, and then that's how all the drama between Gidget and Mercedes kind of started, because like I said, Mercedes knew originally, and Gidget and Mississippi are very close to Mercedes. They feel like that Mercedes should have told them first, and then they could have just kind of figured something out. But like I said, you got to think about it, it's loyalty towards Uncle Clifford. And let's go ahead and jump back to Mercedes a little bit, that we do see that Mercedes ends up going to do her rounds for Mercedes Sunday. But before, like I said, before she left, she was trying to at least let everybody by. So Uncle Clifford looks like he's having kind of a hard time. So he's trying to acting a little nice, nasty towards Miss Mercedes. Like she came in and said, "Well, you're not gonna miss me." He told her to turn around. So basically, all he's gonna miss is her ass making the money for him. But I feel like he's kind of a little sad that she's leaving because, like we said, like we see in the episode, she's been there for over 7 years. So it's like they know each other. They done built a rapport with each other. They done been ups, down, left, right, everywhere. So I mean, he's kind of kind of feeling a little left out, basically. So he tried to basically just brush her off. But back to Mississippi. So Mississippi completely heals this episode. Like I said, Mississippi, in my opinion, is the best scripter in the whole club. They kind of water her down with her little storylines, but she's like, when she gets on that pole, she really lights the whole entire stage up. So like I said, she ends up going on for Mercedes. Originally, I thought Mississippi was gonna fall. I thought that how they was kind of playing it off, that Mississippi was gonna end up going to fall off the pole, and then that was gonna be the reason. Cause I originally thought that they was gonna have Mississippi kind of get killed off, or it was gonna be something with the boyfriend. He was going to have to hit her a little hard, and then that was gonna be something that was gonna affect everybody in the club. But she did great. To be honest, she killed the whole entire thing. She brought in the most money for the night. Because if y'all see that club and the stage, you kind of see all the money in. And I feel like Mississippi is going to be the top one. She's going to, well, to be honest, she already is the top, the scripper, in my opinion. But actually, out of between her and Autumn, Mississippi is going to be that girl to compete. Also, we do see that Mississippi doesn't see herself as nothing more than just a pretty face. She tells Mercedes that, oh, well, I'm not as strong as you. I'm just pretty. And then basically she just thinks that her looks is the only way that she's going to be able to be successful in life. She doesn't, she doesn't really believe in herself. That's why you kind of see that she still sticks with that man. They really didn't play that much on the actual abuse this episode, so you see that it really, wasn't. But like in the next episode, you will see that she's eventually starting to get her confidence back in the scripting and that the poll and everything else. So, we have to see what's going on next week. But like I said, that's pretty much what's all happened with Mississippi. Next person I want to get into is Uncle Clifford. So y'all know Uncle Clifford, my favorite person in the whole entire show, y'all. He is like iconic to me. So they kind of start him off with basically him telling Autumn that with Mercedes' last dance, he's really hoping that with Mercedes' last dance they end up, getting enough money to basically save the club. But one, like I said, Mercedes didn't ever go on. But thank God for Mississippi, because Mississippi really brought in a lot of money. But like Autumn said, these are real corporate men. It doesn't matter if you're going to make the payment to pay off your debt. They still are going to end up auctioning you out and basically taking the club, which we see with Andre. I'll tell y'all guys next when I do my portion of Andre's review, that they don't really care if he ends up trying to make the money. They're still going to date. He only has 2 weeks, basically. He also lets Autumn know that he wants her to keep Andre happy, to get more information, and that's why you see that's why you see Autumn kind of meets up with Andre. She's trying to keep Mr. Uncle Clifford for keeping her secret, as well as trying to keep Andre happy. We also see that Uncle Clifford let Autumn know that you're not special. Because remember, y'all, she was kind of freaked out about the pictures. He ends up showing her the pictures of him on there, of the club. She was just thinking that he was a creep. And also, we kind of see that he kind of get a little attitude with Mississippi, because Mississippi just let all the girls know that basically the Pynk is in trouble and that the Pynk is eventually going to be closing down, which was not good. I feel like we need a full episode on Uncle Clifford, because sometimes they just kind of put him in increments, because they doesn't really give him the nice storyline that I think that he deserves. They did give him a big part at the end. We do see that Little Murder's on VIP as a guest for Uncle Clifford, and that kind of shows us that we kind of see their relationship from the start, blooming out. Because at the end of the episode, while Mercedes is on the dance, when she's on the floor, we also see that Uncle Clifford and Lil Murder ends up getting intimate at the end of the episode, y'all. So, like I said, because if y'all remember previously, they didn't get it in because, I guess either Uncle Clifford or Lil Murder was one of them was scared. But this episode, they had ended up getting it on in. So I was just like, okay, well, I already called it. So we're going to see how that relationship is going to play out for the rest of the season. We're going to see if if they're gonna go public, if they're gonna have to be like hidden in the closet, like y'all know I don't support R. Kelly, but trapped in a closet, closet, closet. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna be like that. But like I said, Uncle Clifford was real short and sweet. Andre, same thing. Andre and Uncle Clifford kind of go hand in hand because kind of their business are more alike the same. So we kind of see as Andre has this big meeting with the higher executives about them trying to, basically buy up the whole Chatta. Y'all, I still don't know how to pronounce that name or the actual city they in. It looks like some part of Louisiana, but Chatta something. Chat. That's what I'm calling it for now. Trying to buy up all chat, y'all. So basically, he's Andre informs the higher execs that Clifford knows about the trying to buy the casino and he's not going for it. He's not trying to sell, like I said. The higher executive man says that it doesn't matter because they're going to go on floor closure in the next 2 weeks, so we're just going to buy up the place anyway if they don't make the money. So, like he told Andre, he has 2 weeks. As well as we do see, and I don't know if you guys know, but it looks like the mayor and Andre are related because I think Andre is the mayor's godson, and the mayor tells him that he has a week, by the end of the week, to finish off this cow deal. If not, it's going to be trouble. And that he can handle Clifford. I don't know what the relationship is with Clifford and the mayor. I believe it was a little murder and a Clifford situation going on with the mayor, and that's why the mayor be so hot and bothered by Clifford, okay? Cause some ain't right. Some is fish in the water, and I already know because some ain't right. Some ain't right. Cause that mayor, cause like okay, he don't like the booty shaking in the club. He wants them to be fully dressed. I'm like, it's a script club, and he told Andre that he needs to keep his if it's some kids watching, y'all have to get out because this is a grown person review, okay? That he needs to keep his dick out of PValley, okay? And keep it out of the strippers. And also, if we go back to the episode, I really don't like the way that Andre was kind of coming at Autumn because he was kind of coming at her like, oh, well, he was kind of basically calling her a hoe and a bad mama. But I said, Andre, ain't you the one that's married with a wife, and you was out here with your little thing out on the little FaceTime calls, doing your little business. But then you was finna have sex with her, so ran off to go get condoms. But all of a sudden, you telling her priorities. But I'm like, how are you gonna be a hypocrite? Like Autumn did say, you are a hypocrite because 1, you're married. 2, you're making shady business deals, and then 3, you're not trustworthy. Like I told you on the first episode review, I didn't trust Andre in the beginning. I still don't trust Andre because Andre is sneaky. And he showed his true colors this episode, how he was coming at Autumn. Like, okay, you're mad because Autumn caught you in your lie because technically you was trying to play Autumn. As we seen, you said that you was a real estate agent taking pictures at nighttime, but clearly you're trying to take the place of business that she works in, turn it into a casino, and get the money. So technically, what you thought was going to happen when you eventually did all this? You eventually were going to have to tell her, correct? But nah, like I said, I didn't like the way Andre kind of came at her. I kind of went back over Miss Patrice earlier. You guys, I'm just going through my whole list of my reviews. Like I said, Miss Patrice ain't worth 2 pennies. Ain't worth 2 pennies, 2 dimes rubbed together. Bad, horrible mother. I still can't get over the fact that how she basically did Mercedes like that. Like that ain't cool, y'all. So let's see who I want to get in next. Who else was on there? Who we don't talk about a lot? We don't talk about Diamond. Diamond, they needs to do Diamond correctly because Diamond needs a storyline. I don't know if they just have him there just for, the little eye candy for the ladies and, some of the men's, but they don't really give him enough storyline. Like, he's basically like the muscle in the club, as well as Uncle Clifford's, right-hand men. Like, they don't give them two enough storylines, and their character development is really, really, really good to have some type of development going on with these two. Like I said, they need some storylines because, like I said, he ends up, so in the middle of the episode, we do see that um, Mississippi is giving this man a dance, and he's basically saying that, why would I give you money for taking off your clothes and all that and blah, blah, blah. And then so you see Mississippi comes over there to save her and saying, well, you in here in the middle of a weekday, so why are you over here trying to basically say, why would I give somebody money when you could be at home basically doing whatever you want to do, freckles. That's what she basically calls him. She was like, I don't like your freckles. And what else? So he ends up throwing the money on the floor, and then this is when Diamond comes. And originally, that Mississippi was going to actually pick up the money from the floor. She was like, "Don't pick it up." She was like, "Tell him to pick it up." He wasn't gonna pick it up either until Diamond came and basically choked him out. And after that, he ended up giving him the money. We kind of see that Diamond and Lil Murder kind of have this little altercation in the beginning. That's why I said he was a VIP. Originally, Diamond don't let nobody in. If you ain't on VIP, he's a good bouncer, okay? They need to give him, like I said, give Diamond more storylines. But let's go ahead and talk about Lil Murder. Like I said, Lil Murder, his storyline is kind of developing as well. Like, they kind of like a slow burn with Lil Murder. I feel like they don't want to tell us too much because at the end, Lil Murder doesn't have a lot of stuff to talk about. So he finally got one of his songs together. I ended up hearing a little bit of the song while they ended up playing it from Mississippi while she was on the actual pole, and everybody was really liking it. But you see that Lil Murder gets kicked out of the club because that he ends up getting into it with his actual homeboy that came with him. But it looks like the homeboy knows about Clifford and Lil Murder because he had said something in the behind of, you always getting punked out or something like that, and that caused Lil Murder to basically beat his homeboy up and get kicked out of the club. But before that, it looks like he eventually tried to go over there to Mercedes just to basically say, well, hey, I got a new track and I want you to dance to it. But he had kind of got punked out by the man, the one that got the ankle bracelet on that on Mercedes. I don't think the man in Mercedes had something going on. Maybe that's maybe who the baby daddy is, or her daughter. They just don't want to say it yet. But if it come true, y'all, they need to go ahead and put me on the writing team, y'all, because I go ahead and have that thing together. But man ended up kind of punking him out, and I don't think Lil Murder is kind of thug. I think he's like one of those wannabe thugs. Because, he kind of called him Christmas colors. He had said, man, this Gucci. And I was just like, that man, he didn't really care. He ended up getting punked out. Now, you want to mess with them because them some real thugs, Lil Murder. So he ended up walking off. He gets kicked out of the club. Like I said, he hears his song play. He's kind of jamming out. And then that's when you see Uncle Clifford comes out. And you actually see that the Lil Murder song is about Clifford. So he kind of write this song basically confessing his feelings for Clifford. It was a good trap beat, y'all. I was like, let me get that song put on my Apple Music. Look, if y'all want to sponsor your boy, go ahead and send something out, y'all. I'm going to have to put y'all on my videos. You know what's up? Sponsor a boy. But y'all, that song was bouncing, y'all. So that's like what I said. They end up going to this I guess Uncle Clifford office, and they end up getting doing the do, y'all. So that pretty much was like the end of the episode. So we kind of ended off on a high note. Actually, it wasn't. So the end of the episode, we kind of see that, like I said, so it was like a 3 split. It was Mississippi, basically getting all the glory, being the top stripper in the club. You see the confetti, the money just on the club. She's loving this attention. We also see that, like I said, Lil Murder and Clifford end up, getting intimate. They kind of ended with that. And then you see that Mercedes and her mom is getting in different police cars because they both got arrested because they had ended up getting in a fight in front of the actual gym that Mercedes' mom, Miss Patrice, stole from Mercedes. So we kind of see that happening, and then at the end of the episode, you'll see that Mercedes and Miss Patrice are both in jail. You see that Mississippi ends up like loving the attention. It's getting more and more each day. Don't really see that. I mean, you see Autumn as well. Just kind of giving y'all a little brief recap of what's going to happen next episode, y'all. So that was my episode review of PValley. Thank y'all so much for going ahead and watching your boy. I will be back next Sunday for another review.